Online. Hey, everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing great. You know what's not doing great? Inflation. Pretty crazy. Last 30 days, 40 days, all of these analysts, all these experts have been telling you that the Fed's getting this under control. They're looking for a pivot pretty soon. Why would they be looking for a pivot? Why? Because they need cheap credit. Why would they be thinking there would be a pivot coming? Because the crash. But I've told you this before, and I'm going to say it again. The Fed loves something called maximum pain. They run those rates up and then they plateau them out. That is what is going to happen. Now, the Federal Reserve is in a. We're going to go over these numbers, these awesome inflation numbers. But I'm still holding to the fact that the Fed needs to pause this month in September. I know it's crazy. Uh, I don't know the likeliness. I mean, I could be wrong, but no, I know I'm not wrong about the Fed having to pause rate hikes this September, and the reason why is because it's the last month uh, of the quarter. And what they want to do, identical to what they did in June, they want to give all these companies a reprieve from higher rates and a doomier outlook. See, this is what the Fed is concerned with: a stock market crash. How does a stock market crash? Well, you have more buyers than sellers. But before you have more buyers than sellers, what happens is you have to get to a point where the doom and gloom is coming out through the quarterly earnings. All right. When you come out with horrible, horrible guidance in the future, and then you've got horrible, horrible numbers in that quarter, you start to change investor sentiment. The Fed knows that. We've already got numbers being revised down massively. We saw that in first and second quarter. The Federal Reserve knows that if in June, and it worked like a charm when they didn't raise rates, and I told you they're going to pause, but they're going to raise again in July because they have not gotten in control of inflation, and it's going to get worse and worse, right? They knew, though, that when they paused, a lot of the outlooks came out and they said, it was looking pretty bad in the beginning of the quarter, but things are starting to look up. And we saw that verbiage. There are computer systems that, and type one if you understand this, there are computer systems that track the words and count the amount of negative phrases versus positive phrases in quarterly earnings. And then they trade stocks. These bots trade stocks based off of that. Most people don't understand how this works. The Fed knows they got to twist the linguistics and they've got to change them in a way that doesn't seem so dire. If things seem dire, everyone's going to run to the bank and take money out. We have just witnessed a bank run in the spring. It's going to get worse. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to lessen this. So the Fed is between two sections right now. They are between, or two frames of thought. We got to get in control of inflation over here. It means we got to raise rates, and we've got to technically raise at 50 basis points minimum per cycle, per rate cycle, hiking cycle, whatever it is. Blanking out. The other side is we want as soft of a landing as possible, so we've got to sort of delay this. And this data is amazing. So we're going to get into this data. Thank you to everybody that's hit the thumbs up to get the algo woke up. And real quick, Silver Symposium, there are the links to the tickets. We're in like the last week that we can sell tickets before the show starts. So go take a look at those. Also, if you want to watch from home, you want to live stream it, there is an option now for that. And then there's the collector's coin where there's only 1,000 of these coins minted for the event and for people to buy. So they're collectible, whatever they're worth. They're only worth what someone's going to buy. But if you want something that's pretty much almost a one of a kind, 1,000 coins out there, I'd go check that out. There's a way to buy that online too. The link is down below under the Silver Symposium link. All right, here we go. This is out of Zero Hedge. US CPI surges more than expected. Wait a minute, hold on. I can't show it to you. I gotta wait. I'm too excited. All right, US CPI surges more than expected in August as gas prices soar. Now, I don't think there's anyone on YouTube that's been talking about this for the last year saying that you're going to see hyperinflation in energy and in food. There is, there's going to be deflationary spikes down, which we're already seeing. That's what they're excited about with the CPI. They try and highlight those things that are going down. And so many people gave me grief about this 2 years ago when I talked about this, that crash doesn't happen overnight. Type 2, if you remember me talking about Father Time, the analogy, let's go from inflation to deflation, everything crashed at once. That is not how it works. All right. You start to see things crash in certain sectors. We're already seeing that. We've been seeing that for a year. That's what they want to highlight. That's why you see these inflation numbers coming out so low where they're like, oh, inflation's only 3%, 3.2%. You're like, are you high? Yeah, they are. But it's because they're highlighting the things that are going down, and they're really not wanting to show the light on energy and food. Okay, so if you don't have emergency food, you need it, and it's not emergency food now; it's an investment. That's what's scary. And don't get too crazy and get 10 years worth of food. You just got to think about things logically. Would I have a year of canned food and then just or dried food and then just go through it, as I need it and then restock it? Absolutely. Yeah, there is hurricanes coming and all this kind of stuff, earth, pestilence. I mean, we know the end of the Bible, right? It's coming. Is it coming tomorrow? I don't know. I doubt it. But I want you to also focus on occupying the land. God will bless you when you occupy the land. And occupy means ownership. It's not leasing, it's not renting. Okay. That's poverty mindset. I want you in a strong mindset. This is not a prosperity message, though. I do not believe in that. I do not believe that you could just talk and go, I'm just going to be rich and God, you're just going to give me money. That doesn't work. Faith comes uh, by hearing, but it also faith without works is dead, which means you could have all the faith in the world and go nowhere. All right. So let's just make sure of that. Sorry, I digress, but hopefully, if you get the message and you think that's a good little intro, type 5. If you think it's horrible, type 6. Then I can see what you guys think. US CPI surges more than expected in August as gas prices soar. I just paid over $6.19 a gallon for diesel in California. It says following July's rebound in headline CPI, August was expected to see that accelerate further, driven by surging energy prices and healthcare methodology changes. There's a lot of stuff changed in healthcare. Headline CPI rose 0.6% month over month, as expected. Headline. Okay. Who cares about headline? That's what they want to show you. Look at all this. This is great because things are going down. That's headline. But push the year over year change to 0.3%. No, sorry, a positive 3.7%, which is up from 3.2% prior and hotter than the 3.6% expected. Again, let's do a poll. Type 9 if you think inflation is really at 3.7%, or type 10 if you think it's probably in the double digits by now. I think it's actually well into the double digits. This, though, still, this lie that they told you, the CPI, this is the biggest month on month since June of 2022. That's a big deal. Now, I'm going to show you this chart. Not that you're going to be able to really read it, but you look at, the CPI numbers, and they're like, remember when they're just like, oh, it's so up here. It's almost 9%. This is horrible. And look at all this stuff went down because they lied to you better, right? This is what we're talking about. And a lot of people are like, well, why does that matter, Ninja? I mean, look what it was up here. Okay, this is what you got to understand. This is representing the most important part of the inflation metric: energy and food. Okay, these are the two things that nobody can deal without. This run up, this first run up was a greed run up. And this is what no one's gonna tell you, explain to you. This was greed. This was, I gotta buy a fence. I'm at home, I gotta build my fence. I gotta build a house. I gotta go buy that car I can't afford, but screw it. The interest rates are low. And it ran, you had more buyers than sellers, and just in the everything bubble. Now, this is where it gets scary. This ain't doom and gloom. This is how economics work, okay? This is where you move into a hyperinflation. I know it's crazy because what happens is the CPI took into effect everything. Now they're going, oh, now it's going down because of part of it. And the only part that's going down is the crap you don't need. Travel and leisure, things like that. You don't need it, right? You don't need electronics and consumer goods. You just don't need it. You need food and you need energy. That's what's going to be pumping this up. So here we go. Hope that explains it well. It says there was a big turn around in airline fares. Now this is an interesting one. They rose 4.9% after dropping 8.1, and I'm going to explain that in a second. Remember when I said travel leisure was it was the second thing to go in the line of deflationary spikes down. In each of the previous 2 months, okay, this is why it went up. 2 reasons. Fuel went up, right? So that goes up. But what airlines did, they're actually dealing with a pilot shortage. They're dealing with a staffing shortage. They are having to pay more because you're seeing these strikes starting, like United still, I think, in talks of strikes. I want to say American is something like. Anyway, what's happening is they are also dealing with. They're trying to do more with less. They're putting more airplanes into storage right now. They're trying to run a leaner fleet. Well, what happens is, due to seasonality changes, they won't explain this to you because more people travel during the summer, right? Summer months. You remember sell in May and go away. A lot of stock traders trade. They go on vacation. A lot of people go on vacation in those 2 months of July and August. So what happens is you take those 2 factors, seasonality changes, you take higher fuel, and then you also add in higher labor costs because they're trying to keep people from striking and they are dealing with less aircraft, less employees. You now have a bubble. So they go, okay, we're going to do this. It's a short-lived run. That little spike up is going to come crashing down in travel, airfare in the next couple of uh, months. All right. So that's the explanation on that. Now it says, ironically, the day that CPI sees airline fare soar, American just cut their earnings outlook. See what I'm talking about? Airlines, and again, I'm reading this live to you, so I explain a little bit ahead of time, but that's how it works. American sees what's coming. They're like, oh yeah, we watch Ninja. It's true, they do actually. I see so many American Airlines employees that follow the channel, and it's because I get it. I know their industry pretty darn well. I've tracked it since 2006, 2005, when all that horrible debacle, when the Supreme Court ruled that the airlines can just take your retirement, take it away from you, just steal it from you just to keep themselves solvent, even though they mismanaged everything. Um, they get it. So they're telling you right now that everything's going to crap in a handbasket. Now it says, interestingly, the gasoline jump coincides with the CPI index level at the start of Putin's invasion of Ukraine. Hey, let me ask you a quick question. I don't ever really do this. Would you consider hitting the subscribe button and the bell icon? Because of what happened last week, and after talking with YouTube, with all of my metrics getting thrown off, it would help me out. If you like this content, if you don't, shoot, definitely. I'm a weirdo. All right. Now it says here the jump in the CPI, or sorry, interesting, the gasoline price jump coincides with the CPI index level at the start of Putin's invasion of Ukraine. See, it's just a good reason to just run those prices up through the trading. Note that the index is up 78% since President Biden took office. Wasn't that nice? Remember this. Type 12, if you remember and think this is horrible and just a great sign that I'm going to keep it clean, moron should not be in the office. His first act as president was to turn around all of Trump's energy stuff and go from us being energy independent and cheap fuel to us being sellouts and buying our stuff dependent on Saudi Arabia, which is already was at that time a known to be aligning with China. But because he's bought and paid for by China, I get it. A lot of liberals just don't want to look at the truth. They care more about people saying mean things. Um, uh, that is really the truth of what's happening. Says core CPI rose 0.3% month over month, which is more than the 0.2 expected. Wow, it's weird. All these people that went to college that tell you how to do things on CNBC and all these financial channels, I'm not allowed to do it. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't have a fancy name tag, and I wasn't a frat. But I'll tell you what, I would have crushed it in a frat. I'm just saying. Point being is this. Stay on topic, Ninja. All those people were wrong. So should you be taking financial advice from them? I'm just going to say I don't. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not even looking at the camera right now. I'm just saying I don't. It says right here, shelter inflation. Shelter inflation. Remember, that was a key metric. Check this out. August rent inflation, 7.76% year over year, which is down from 8.3% in July, the lowest since November. I've been telling you rents are coming down. People don't believe it. People are, oh, not my town. I'm like, well, you got to think a little bit bigger. Let's think nationally. That's when you get a really good perspective of the country and the environment, and then you can project what's coming to your town near you. August shelter inflation, 7.27%. Year over year down from 7.69%. I know, and people are going to go, it's not enough. Copy. Don't worry. The pendulum is about to swing the other direction. And it's going to go low. That's why we're getting ready for a real estate crash. But transport beats out shelter for the first time as the largest driver of core CPI. As BBG notes, don't have any clue what that acronym means. Type 13 if you hate acronyms. A re-rise in transport CPI would be a problem for stocks and bonds as it has been the primary driver of inflation. Thank you so much, Nicholas, for the super chat. So I'll read this. A re-rise in transport CPI would be a problem for stocks and bonds as it has been the primary driver of inflation's fall over the last several months. Yeah, the transport stocks go down, transportation costs go down, things like that. But the problem is, what do you have creeping up again? Fuel prices. It's a big deal. This one's gonna be scary. When gasoline hits $10 a gallon, and that's coming in some parts of the country, you're gonna be thrilled, and that is coming. If you're, I don't want to get into that right now. It's crazy. You have to understand when bad things happen and crazy things happen like that, people are gonna lose their minds. I made so much money buying and selling things, starting a side hustle all that stuff during the Great Recession, and even the run up to the Great Recession as people were losing their homes. They got to sell to someone. They might as well sell to you. They might as well sell to me, and then we're going to go turn to make a profit because they're losing their minds because they didn't plan ahead, and then they're making hasty decisions. That's what you're just walking in. You're going to be the answer their problems. Oh, you want to sell that? Okay, well I can give you this much. Keep trying to sell it, but I can give you this much. It's lower, but just if you can't sell it, let me know. And they just boom call you because they're irrational. They're impatient. They're the same people that told you you're nuts prior to warning them. And I'm not saying this can happen to your family or friends. I'm saying just the type of human being you're dealing with. You got to be ready for this. I don't want you missing out. The index for gasoline was the largest contributor to the monthly all items increase, accounting for over half of the increase. Also contributing to the August monthly increase was continued advancement in the shelter index, which rose for the 40th consecutive month, but is now rapidly declining. You heard that. Again, I want you. As home prices shoot up, it doesn't matter because the sales are falling off a cliff, and then we're starting to see downturns in prices all over the country. All right, go look at Las Vegas, go look at all these big cities, okay? And it is coming to everyone because the panic's about to ensue. You're going to see some really cool things this fall going into winter with houses. The energy index rose 5.6% in August as all the major energy component index increased. The food index increased 0.2% in August as it did in July. The index for food at home increased 0.2% month over month, while the index for food away from home rose 0.3%. Type 15 if you see restaurants right now that are rapidly raising prices, getting pretty insane. Um, the shelter index was the largest factor in the monthly increase in the index for all items less food and energy. Um, but again, I want to focus on the food and energy because that's what's going to take down housing. that's that's what it's going to be. And so when you have your food purchased and you have a clear mind, you got savings set up, and you're out of debt. Can you only imagine? Can you type 16 if you can imagine this? Type 16 if it's not imagining, it's like it's coming out of you. Like this realization of, oh my gosh, I see what he's been talking about for the last 3 years. I see this cycle turning. Oh, this is what's getting me excited, getting me motivated to save money, to get out of debt, to keep my credit score ready to rock and roll, to get knowledge about how do I set up an entity so that I'm not using my social security number to borrow this money to go buy these homes. I'm going to freaking go crush it with an entity. I'm going to protect myself financially. I'm going to do it the way no one's ever taught it on YouTube because you know why? It don't sell books. All these fake gurus out there that are going to go broke. And trust me, the ninja will be covering this. It will be the opposite. And type 16 if you understand that the opposite always works. When you go against the flow, you win. And what it comes down to is when you go against the flow with society, it's just a matter of time when you're the winner and they're the loser. You see, because there's no change in these cycles. They come. The sun rises, the sun sets. Everything that happened yesterday will come tomorrow. The doom and gloom, this whole, oh, the world's ending. Yeah, it's going to end someday. I believe in Jesus Christ. I know what happens at the end of the book. Am I going to see it in my lifetime? More than likely. I do believe that. But in the next 10 years, do we have that to worry about? No. We got all kinds of other things to worry about. So why don't we focus on those things? And I'm going to tell you what, one thing is that the elites and Satan want to own this world. They want to own everything. They want you to have nothing. The good law abiding citizens, they don't want you to protect themselves, they or yourselves. They want you to feel protected, but in all reality, when the gunman shows up, you're toast. And that's to go with finances too. So it is biblical to own land. It is biblical. I don't need to be a priest. No, maybe I do need to be sometimes because um but this whole prosperity message, no, that's negative. You want to become wealthy, learn how to give, reap what you sow. You want time, sow time. You want money, you sow money. And you give it with a cheerful heart, and it doesn't happen right away. God does that on purpose. It's a test of your faith. And when you get tested, you receive. And I'm telling you, the other day, I'm just going to share this little testimony. I got to stand. I was recorded for a video conference in front of a big company, and they said that we have to highlight. We have to ask you how you do it. You know what I said. So I got to tell you right now, you're looking for business. I'm going to paraphrase. You're looking for business answers. I'm going to tell you right now, it's Jesus Christ. And it's the idea of reaping what you sow. And so I am a tither, and that is an amazing thing. But at the same time, I get witty ideas, and God's blessing me. Now, now that's number one. Number two, I'm doing this, this, and this in my business model. to do a good job. And so remember, it's by the power of our testimony in which we overcome. So my testimony, what it does is it hits you like fiery darts, and it tells you, well, if that guy can do it, I can do it. Remember, faith comes by hearing. So if you hear the ninja crushing it and how he's crushing it, you know what you do? Oh, that means I can crush it. Remember, I'm the cheerleader. I'm here. The one thing I can do is live on, keep my mother and my grandmother's legacy of encouragement and saying, if I could do it, you can do it. So just understand that. I hope you guys got something from this. The Silver Symposium tickets, there's some left. Go take a look at it. There's also online. You could buy online. I want to say it's like $59 to watch the whole thing live stream, all the speakers on the main stage. And then there's also, if you want to add $20, they're giving away. It's for another $20 a commemorative 1-ounce silver coin. They've only minted 1,000 of them. So I really appreciate you guys. I cannot wait to see you in Las Vegas. It's going to be exciting. You're going to meet a lot of people like yourself, and this will encourage you. This will motivate you, and it'll be good for your spirit. It'll be good for your mind. Hope you guys got something out of this. The Economic Ninja is out.